en temps et lieu. Monday will mark a year since the first recorded case of COVID-19 in Canada. If you're tired and fed up, that's understandable. But remember, this is not forever. With vaccines being rolled out, we're in the final stretch. Canada is approaching 750,000 vaccine doses administered across the country. And on average, the number of doses done daily is now almost 4 times more than what it was just 3 weeks ago. In other words, we're getting more vaccines delivered and delivered quicker, and these doses are getting out to more and more people. Yesterday, I spoke with the global CEO of Pfizer, Dr. Bourla. The next few weeks will be challenging when it comes to deliveries. That said, Dr. Bourla assured me that hundreds of thousands of Pfizer doses will be delivered the week of February 15th and in the weeks to follow. He also confirmed that we will receive all of our 4 million doses from Pfizer before March 31st. The current momentary delay is so that they can increase their production overall going forward. I'll also add that we'll get almost 500,000 Moderna doses in February, too. We're working around the clock to get as many vaccines as we can, as fast as we can. It's what I'm thinking about when I wake up in the morning, when I go to bed, and every hour in between. Au moment où on se parle, le gouvernement fédéral travaille avec tous les ordres de gouvernement pour accélérer les efforts de vaccination. On a déjà livré 1,1 million de doses de vaccins contre la COVID-19 aux provinces et aux territoires. Et au printemps, on s'attend à ce qu'au moins 20 millions de doses soient déployées. J'ai abordé le sujet hier avec les premiers ministres des provinces et des territoires lors de notre 25e rencontre des premiers ministres. Je sais que les premiers ministres veulent obtenir plus de doses le plus tôt possible. C'est ma priorité aussi. On maintient le cap pour offrir un vaccin à tous les Canadiens qui souhaitent se faire vacciner d'ici septembre. At my 25th meeting with the premiers yesterday, we also talked about border and travel. My message to Canadians remains clear. If no one should be taking a vacation abroad right now, if you've got one planned, cancel it. And don't book a trip for spring break. It's obvious we should avoid trips south and out of the country. But remember, across the country, people are being told to stay home. So if you were thinking of traveling across the country for spring break, now's not the time. We need to hang on and hold tight for the next few months. We must get through to the spring and mass vaccinations in the best shape possible. Les mesures que le Canada applique pour les voyages et les frontières sont parmi les plus strictes au monde. Elles comprennent notamment un test de dépistage obligatoire avant le retour au pays, et les États-Unis suivent maintenant notre exemple, ainsi qu'une quarantaine obligatoire de 2 semaines. Avec nos nouvelles mesures, il y a maintenant moins de vols. Mais comme je l'ai dit au Premier ministre, on est prêt à prendre des mesures encore plus strictes s'il le faut. Ensemble, on a discuté de la gamme d'options sur la table présentement, parce que quand il est question de sécurité, on n'exclut aucune possibilité. Alors qu'on travaille avec les provinces et les territoires pour mener à bien la campagne de vaccination et appliquer les mesures frontalières, on apporte également un soutien supplémentaire à nos ressources en soins de santé. Comme j'en ai discuté avec les premiers ministres, on doit s'assurer de ne pas rouvrir trop tôt durant cette deuxième vague. Les gouvernements provinciaux ont déjà pris des décisions difficiles mais nécessaires et le nombre de cas a diminué dans certaines régions du pays. Notre gouvernement sera toujours là pour les provinces et les territoires lorsqu'il s'agit d'assurer la sécurité des gens. The spike in COVID-19 cases this month has put a real strain on hospitals. For Ontario in particular, the situation is extremely serious. When we spoke last week, I told Premier Ford we would be there to support Ontario with any assistance they need. Keeping you and your family safe is our top priority. That's why our government is deploying 2 federal mobile health units to the GTA. This will provide up to 200 additional hospital beds and free up space for people who need ICU care. Each of the units can also provide vital medical equipment and supplies. Of course, right across the country, we're also doing our part on testing. We've sent 14.3 million rapid tests to the front lines, with millions more on the way. Everyone should have access to a fast, reliable test when they need one. Finally, the premiers and I discussed the new administration in the United States. We had a great Team Canada approach with the previous administration, and that's something that will continue to serve us well. During our conversation, the premiers and I talked about the United States' decision on the Keystone XL pipeline. I am, of course, disappointed with this choice. To workers, especially in Alberta and Saskatchewan, who've been hit hard, we will continue to have your backs. We will always stand up for good Canadian jobs. Canadians and Americans are more than just neighbors. We are allies, partners, and friends. Together, we've faced some of the greatest challenges the world has ever seen. So I know that we're ready to work shoulder to shoulder to defeat COVID-19 and rebuild economies that work for everyone. And this is something I look forward to discussing with President Biden when we speak on the phone later today. Je sais que le président Biden et moi, on est sur la même longueur d'onde à propos de la lutte contre les changements climatiques, de l'importance de créer de bons emplois pour la classe moyenne et de la nécessité de bâtir un monde plus pacifique et plus stable. Depuis longtemps, les Canadiens et les Américains font front commun face aux défis et aux changements. Ensemble, je sais que nous pouvons continuer à améliorer la vie des gens des deux côtés de notre frontière. Finally, I want to end this morning by recognizing that this will be an especially tough day for the people in La Loche, Saskatchewan. To everyone who lost someone, to the survivors, to the entire community, you are in our thoughts and in our hearts. I met many of you when I visited La Loche and spoke with students and teachers and community members. Your strength and courage is remarkable. In the last 5 years, we've worked together on new programs and resources for your school and funded cultural and language-based programs, on-the-land activities, and mental health services for students. But I want you to know today, we will continue to be there for you. Today and always, Canada stands with you. It's just who we are. People across this country stand there for each other when times are difficult, and we will continue to be there for you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to media. Start on the phone. One question, one follow-up. Operator.
Thank you, merci. First question, Christy Kirkup, The Globe and Mail. Line open.
Hello, Prime Minister. Did the vetting process for Ms. Payet involve reaching out to Canada Land Company, which employed Ms. Payet at the Montreal Sciences Centre, or the Canadian Olympic Committee?
For all high-level appointments, there is a rigorous vetting process that was followed in this case. Obviously, we will continue to look at that vetting process to ensure that it is the best possible process as we move forward. Okay. Il y a toujours un processus rigoureux pour regarder les antécédents de quiconque se fait choisir pour des postes importants au gouvernement. Mais évidemment, nous allons continuer de regarder comment on peut améliorer ces processus-là.
Follow-up, Christy?
But, Prime Minister, there were so many red flags that were documented, including harassment allegations about Ms. Payet prior to her being named Governor General. So, Prime Minister, where does the buck stop? Where does the responsibility lie for this?
Obviously, the vetting process that was in place was followed, but obviously we're going to also look at ways we can strengthen and improve the vetting process for high-level appointments.
Merci. Prochaine question. Operator.
Thank you, merci. Prochaine question, Mélanie Marquis, La Presse, à vous.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Regrettez-vous d'avoir nommé Julie Payet au poste de gouverneur général?
Je pense que Mme Payet, avec son emphase sur la science et le service, a amené énormément de positifs dans son service, mais évidemment, le droit à toute personne d'avoir un milieu de travail sain et sécuritaire est quelque chose dans lequel ce gouvernement croit profondément. Et c'est pour ça que nous avons accepté la démission de la gouverneure générale.
Sylvie?
Vous avez échangé, M. Trudeau, avec Mme Payet au téléphone mercredi soir. Que lui avez-vous dit? Est-ce que vous avez tenté de l'inciter à démissionner?
J'ai eu la chance de m'asseoir en personne avec Mme Payet pour parler de la situation. Elle a exprimé qu'elle croyait que pour le bien de l'institution et du pays, elle devrait soumettre sa démission et je l'ai accepté.
Merci. Prochaine question. Operator.
Thank you. Merci. Prochaine question. Raymond Fillon, TVA, à vous.
Merci. Bon vendredi, M. Trudeau. Les voyages non essentiels, est-ce que votre gouvernement va imposer une quarantaine obligatoire aux voyageurs dans des hôtels à leurs frais quand ils rentrent au Canada, comme le demande le premier ministre Legault? Et sinon, pourquoi pas?
C'est une possibilité qu'on est en train de regarder. Comme j'ai dit au premier ministre hier soir, on est en train de regarder toutes sortes de nouvelles mesures qu'on pourrait amener pour assurer qu'on est en train de protéger les Canadiens et décourager les voyages non essentiels. C'est un enjeu sur lequel on est tous d'accord, mais il faut se rappeler aussi que on dit constamment de ne pas faire de voyages non essentiels et en même temps, on a parmi les mesures les plus fortes au monde pour ceux qui voyagent, avec une quarantaine de 2 semaines qui est là depuis le mois de mars, avec des suivis qui sont faits pas seulement par le gouvernement fédéral, mais par la police locale pour assurer que les gens sont en train d'obéir à cette quarantaine avec des pénalités sévères. Et aussi, maintenant, des tests de dépistage obligatoires avant d'embarquer dans l'avion pour revenir au Canada. On a eu une bonne discussion hier soir avec les premiers ministres sur les différentes options et on va en avoir plus à dire dans les jours à venir.
Alors, quelles sont ces options qui sont sur la table? Est-ce que l'idée, par exemple, d'interdire certains vols est encore une possibilité, certains vols vers l'étranger ou vers le Canada? Ce ne serait pas une bonne idée de nous le dire dès aujourd'hui, alors que des gens, encore ce matin, sont à planifier des voyages vers l'étranger?
Comme j'ai dit il y a plusieurs jours, c'est pas le temps de planifier des voyages à l'étranger, particulièrement pas des voyages non essentiels ou de vacances, parce qu'on pourrait effectivement amener des nouvelles mesures sans préavis qui pourraient rendre beaucoup plus difficile le retour vers le Canada. Et on fait ça parce que notre priorité, ça va toujours être de protéger les Canadiens, particulièrement avec ces nouvelles variations de la COVID-19 qui sont un peu partout dans le monde. On se doit de se resserrer et d'assurer la protection des Canadiens. D'ailleurs, on sait que ces mesures devraient ne pas être nécessaires pour plus que quelques mois encore avec les vaccins qui vont arriver au printemps. On va entrer dans une nouvelle phase de cette pandémie, de cette lutte contre le virus, mais nous devons de respecter les règles et de faire attention pendant encore quelques mois d'hiver. We have been very, very clear, and I said it a few days ago, that people should not be planning non-essential travel or vacation travel outside of the country, particularly because, as I said a few days ago, we could be bringing in new measures that significantly impede your ability to return to Canada at any given moment without warning. Last night, I had a long conversation with the premiers about a number of different options that we could possibly exercise to further limit travel and to keep Canadians safe. And we will have more to say on those in the coming days. But the bottom line is this. It's not the time to travel, either internationally or even across the country. With spring break coming, people need to hunker down, stay home, make sure we kill this second wave of the virus so that we can get through into the spring and the increase in millions of doses of vaccines that'll be arriving in Canada in the best position possible, particularly given the real concern about variants of COVID-19 that are being more and more documented around the world.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Ashley Burke, CBC News. You did not use a committee like the past government to select Madame Payet as Governor General. You went with your own personal selection, and the vetting process couldn't have been that rigorous because it was pretty easy for me to find out that she left 2 past workplaces amid controversy and questions around her treatment of staff there. So why didn't your government ask some pretty basic questions about her ability to lead, and why won't you commit to using a committee to select the next Governor General?
As I said, we are looking right now at processes that can be strengthened as we move forward, and we will have more to say on that as we make decisions.
But why not use a committee? Obviously, that did not work the first time.
We will continue to look at the best way to select people for the vice-regal appointments. It's an important role for Canadians, and we will look at how we can improve it. Nous allons toujours regarder comment nous pouvons améliorer le processus de vérification et de sélection du poste de gouverneur général.
Prime Minister Tonda McCharles, Toronto Star. A lot of observers look at this and believe that you bear a lot of responsibility for your choice. I'd like to know, do you owe an apology to the workers at Rideau Hall, past and present, who suffered in that workplace? Do you owe an apology to them? Do you owe an apology to Canadians?
I think as a government, we've demonstrated time and time again how important it is to create workplaces that are free and safe from harassment, and in which people can do their important jobs in safety and security. That is why we moved forward on significant measures for Parliament, for the public service, and why we consider that we needed to accept the resignation of Julie Payet, given the concerns that were raised. Obviously, the work that has been done by people working at Rideau Hall over the past years has always been exceptional. They fulfill important duties for Canadians, and as we saw, were sometimes in very difficult situations. We want to thank them for their work and reassure them that we will continue to stand up for workplaces that are safe and secure everywhere in the government, but indeed across the country.
Hello, Prime Minister. Amanda Connolly with Global News. Former governors general traditionally get an annuity worth roughly double or more what most Canadians earn in a year, plus an expense account of roughly $100,000 per year. My question has a couple of parts. Will Madame Payet get a full annuity and expense account despite resigning early? And given Madame Payet's record of questionable expenses, given the questions about her judgment on how she conducts herself, do you believe that she can be trusted to use those expenses responsibly, or will you change the rules to require public disclosure of those?
This country has very clear rules and regulations and processes and procedures in place to follow on in these cases of reporting expenses or indeed on annuities for Governor Generals. Those processes will be followed, but obviously we're always open to having discussions on changes that need to be made moving forward.
But will you make them more stringent?
We will always be open to improving processes in place around this government.
Oui, bonjour, Laurence Martin de Radio-Canada. Justement, sur cette pension, en fait, cette rente là, de 150 000 $, on comprend que Julie Payet y a droit. Mais quel message est-ce que vous pensez que ça envoie aux employés, aux ex-employés de Rideau Hall qui ont souffert à cause d'elle?
Je pense que c'est important de reconnaître à quel point le travail des employés à Rideau Hall a toujours été exceptionnel et nous les remercions de leur travail dans des situations parfois difficiles. Tout le monde a le droit à travailler dans un milieu sain et sécuritaire et c'est quelque chose que nous allons toujours prendre au sérieux en tant que gouvernement. Everyone has the right to a safe and secure workplace. People who've worked in Rideau Hall over the past years have done so in sometimes difficult circumstances, and we thank them deeply for their work, and we'll continue to ensure that everyone who works for the government or anywhere in Canada continues to have the safe and secure workplaces.
Hello, Prime Minister. Mike Blanchfield, Canadian Press. Can you tell us more about your conversation with the premiers last night over Keystone XL and your chat with President Biden today? What were some of the specific measures or some of the specific points the premiers want you to make to Biden? What were they telling you about what Biden was doing, or the president was doing? And can you give us a sense of sort of their mood about this decision, which obviously some of them would not have been pleased about?
Obviously, the decision on Keystone XL is a very difficult one for workers in Alberta and Saskatchewan who've had many difficult hits over the past years. We have been there for them. We will continue to be there for them. And I will express my concern for jobs and livelihoods in Canada, particularly in the West, directly in my conversation with President Biden. But I think the fact that we have so much alignment, not just me and President Biden, but Canadians and President Biden on values of creating jobs and prosperity for everyone, opportunities for everyone, investing in the fight against climate change as a way of growing the economy, looking to be coordinated and aggressive in stepping up in our measures against COVID-19. These are things that we're going to be able to dig into significantly. It's not always going to be perfect alignment with the United States. That's the case with any given president. But in a situation where we are much more aligned on values, on focus, on the work that needs to be done to give opportunities for everyone while we build a better future, I'm very much looking forward to working with President Biden. Je pense qu'évidemment, il y a des gens, des travailleurs dans l'Ouest qui ont été très déçus par cette décision du président. Mais comme j'ai dit, nous allons continuer d'être là pour appuyer les travailleurs à travers le pays et défendre leurs intérêts face aux États-Unis. Mais il faut se souvenir que le fait d'avoir un président qui est beaucoup plus aligné, pas seulement avec mes valeurs en tant que Premier ministre, mais avec les valeurs des Canadiens par rapport à la lutte contre les changements climatiques, par rapport à la nécessité de bâtir une économie de travail pour tout le monde, avec des bons emplois pour tout le monde, de lutter réellement contre la COVID-19, de parler d'inclusion, de diversité. Ça ne veut pas dire que tout va toujours aller bien avec les États-Unis. Il va certainement avoir des défis, mais de pouvoir s'entendre sur les valeurs et l'approche et d'avoir des vraies discussions sur comment on va améliorer la situation pour tous les gens qui habitent au Canada et aux États-Unis. On commence une nouvelle ère maintenant en amitié et en travail canado-américain et j'ai bien hâte de l'entamer cet après-midi avec M. Biden.
Prime Minister Kevin Gallagher, CTV National News. The official leader of the opposition has asked for you to reinstate the nonpartisan Vice-Regal Appointments Committee, as well as give opposition parties a say in the next Governor General. And given it's a minority parliament, how urgent is that new appointment?
First of all, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is an extraordinarily able individual who will very well be able to fulfill any and all responsibilities of the Governor General on an interim basis. So Canadians need not be concerned about political or constitutional concerns on that level. But obviously, as we move forward, we will reflect carefully on the way to best select a successor to the Governor General. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Good day, everyone.